Good evening, everyone. This is Mayor Cyril Jefferson convening a regular meeting of the High Point City Council. Here with me in chambers, we have every member of council present, along with Madam Manager, Madam Attorney, and we wish Madam Clerk well in her absence, but we have our Deputy Clerk here with us. Before we get into our agenda, I actually asked everyone if you'll join us for a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our agenda includes consent items along with general business. And before we begin our discussion on it, we'll actually ask for an adoption of our agenda. Is there a motion on this?
Second.
There's been a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Moore, seconded by Councilmember Andrew. Any discussion on this item? I'll go ahead and note for the record that the item 2025-059 regarding racetrack, you'll have an opportunity to still speak tonight. We'll have a public hearing that will be continued to our March 3rd regular council meeting for further discussion. So just want to mention that so that way everyone's aware. If there's no further discussion on this item, forgive me, I'll also go ahead and note that we are adding an item to the general agenda regarding setting a public hearing date for Series 2025 limited obligation bonds for stadium modifications. I want to ask Mayor Pro Tem, can we adjust your motion to include that in there?
Absolutely, yes.
Is your second still strong on that?
Second, yes.
Okay, any discussion on those additions to the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? The ayes have it, and our agenda is adopted. In review of our consent agenda, are there any items that need to be removed from consent to be discussed amongst general? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Johnson. Any discussion on the motion to approve our consent agenda?
I just want to say I'm excited to see affordable housing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely agreed. Thank you for that. Any other comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? The ayes have it, and our consent agenda passes. First item under our general agenda is a public hearing for a request from BoFern, Project Fern. This is item 2025-057. At this time, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing and call on Peter Bishop, our Economic Development Director, to present to council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Madam Manager. It's great to see you this evening. We have a public hearing this evening for Project Fern, which represents BoFern, a manufacturer of indoor and outdoor commercial hospitality furniture. The project will involve the renovation of an existing building at 1005 West Fairfield Road. I think you may know it in the area as the old Murrow's Transfer Building. This property is going to be leased by the company. They are looking at investing just under $1 million, $930,000 into this leasehold interest over 5 years and creating 57 new jobs in the city of High Point. Those jobs will average just under $47,000 per year. This will be a manufacturing, finishing, and upholstery operation, so they will actually be making this furniture here from raw materials. The proposed incentives, staff is recommending $45,600 over that time period to BoFern. This incentive is based on the council-approved policy under the job creation format for the South High Point area. This project, it will all city utilities, so electric, water, and sewer, all provided by the city of High Point. And BoFern is looking for a decision this evening after this public hearing from City Council on this incentive award. Some pictures of the location to orient you as you're looking at this picture. To the right or the east is Shore Street, and just a little past there is the Thomas Built Bus manufacturing operation. And as you go further to the left or to the west, you get to the Pet Dairy and Business 85 interchange there. And some pictures of the frontages and asides. Beaufern, this is some examples of their work in picture and some of the clients that they work with, so national brands that you would see throughout the United States. Seeing this custom created furniture, some pictures provided by the company of their manufacturing process, and as you can see, they're, craftsmen working with their hands, cutting, gluing, hammering and upholstering furniture here. And then another example of a more modern style of furniture in a restaurant facility that they designed and completed here. And with that, I'll answer any questions that you might have about Project Fern. Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Are there any questions for staff on this item?
Don't have any questions, but I got a comment.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I've been around the town long enough that to see something like that's pretty darned exciting, because it's exactly what we used to do, but made us who we are, and now to see it coming back, I hope they're extremely successful.
Agreed. Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
And any other questions or comments? On our sign-in sheet for this public hearing, we don't have anyone noted, but if there's anyone here who'd like to speak for or against this item, you can now come forward. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and ask if there's a motion for this item.
So moved.
Second.
I'm going to assume Mayor Pro Tem in motion in favor.
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Moore, seconded by Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion on this motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it, and this motion passes. I do want to say, I just want to take a quick point of privilege here and say that we welcomed Baby Bishop here not too long ago. Now, Baby Bishop is not a toddler preaching the gospel, y'all. Baby Bishop happens to be Peter Bishop's newest member of his family, and I was so surprised to see him this evening because I know you've been on leave, and so I
Yes.
can imagine you ran in here. There's probably baby wipes in your back pocket right now. I'm not surprised. But we
Yes, well-
appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you. I took a point of privilege with my wife to be with you all this evening, so thank you very much for having me. But no, Adelaide Margaret was born just 5 days ago, 6 days ago, so we're sleeping okay. Everybody's great, so thank you very much. It's great to be here, get away just a little bit, get back to the office. But no, thank you very much. We're all very happy and healthy at home.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Peter,
Congrats.
If I'm not mistaken, that's your only girl, right?
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're very excited.
I can see you wrapped around their finger already.
Yeah, it's already happened.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Peter.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next item is item 2025-058, public hearing regarding Parish Trust Tickle Airs and SBA Towers. If I'm not mistaken, on this item, we'll actually go ahead and have a public hearing on both. So for that, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and invite Herb Shannon, our senior planner, to present to staff here.
Yes, Herb Shannon, Senior Planner with the Planning and Development Department, and Annexation Case 2404 and Zoning Map Amendment 2426, both pertain to an 8-acre tract of land lying at the southeast corner of NC 68 and Gallimore Dairy Road. We'll do a combined presentation, but they do need to be voted on separately. The applicant's proposing to develop a 6,000 square foot convenience store with fuel pumps, 16 passenger vehicle pumps, and 8 diesel pumps for trucks and tractor trailers. And the applicant's requesting annexation to have access to city utilities. For this evening, staff is recommending that the council hear the staff presentation, the applicant's presentation, and any public comments, and then continue this request to your March 3rd public hearing. There was an inadvertent error in one of the public hearing ads. The legal ad for the annexation, zoning, and the mail notices to surrounding property owners were all correct, but there was a typo on the public hearing sign that was posted on the site. So after the public comments, we're recommending you continue it to a date certain, March 3rd, so that a correct public hearing sign can be posted. In regard to the annexation, this site is situated in the northern portion of the city's planning area at the southeast corner of NC 68, also known as East Chester Drive and Gallimore Dairy Road. This parcel is surrounded on 3 sides by the High Point city limits to the east, south, and west. There have been numerous annexations in this portion of the city since the late 1980s. And the city's annexation policies does support annexation of this area. And this is a logical progression of the city's annexation policy as there are existing city services, water, sewer, and city service vehicles that are already in this area. This annexation of this parcel would not negatively impact the city's ability to provide services for this area, and staff is supportive of this request. In regard to the zoning proposal, this parcel is currently in unincorporated Guilford County. It currently has an agricultural zoning in Guilford County, and I believe there are 2 vacant single-family homes and a vacant mobile home on this site. The applicant, Racetrack Incorporated, is requesting to establish a City of High Point zoning of conditional zoning general business for a convenience store use on the site. Included in their application and in your package is a conditional zoning document with conditions pertaining to allowable uses. There's a binding conditional zoning plan, and also transportation-related conditions regarding access, right-of-way dedication, and road improvements. This is a picture of the city's 2045 comprehensive plan for this portion of the city's planning area. This site is within the suburban center corridor place type. This place type generally supports auto-oriented commercial uses, and that's what has been established in this area. I would also note that this site is within the East Chester Gateway corridor where there are higher development standards. But staff, after evaluating this request, finds that the request is consistent with the development pattern of this area. This is a copy of the zoning districts in that area. As you can see, this site is surrounded on 3 sides by the city, and just to the south and west, there are other sites that have conditional zoning general business or conditional use general business. So this is not a situation where the applicant's establishing a new zoning pattern. This is a consistent request for this portion of the city's planning area. Historically, commercial developments in this little commercial node along the corridor have had higher development standards. The applicant has included with their conditional zoning document conditions regarding limiting access and, most importantly, installing the extension of Tyning Street to the rear of this project. On the opposite side of this section of NC 68, you have Sedgebrook Street, and that's a good example with the comprehensive plan and the East Chester Corridor plan envisioned for this area. You have a rear access street that limits the number of access points to this portion of NC 68 and also provides a means for those customers to use that rear access street to access a signalized intersection at Regency or at Gallimore Dairy Road. This is a graphic representation of what's in your package as far as the binding plan, where you can see they have their building at the corner. Yeah, thank you. Just to orient everyone, because we had to turn the map here, you have East Chester Drive, NC 68, Gallimore Dairy Road. Their building is sitting at the corner with one access point to NC 68, one access point to Gallimore Dairy Road, and you have that extension of Tyning Street that the applicant will be constructing that will assist in ensuring that as vehicles exit the site, they can either go to the signalized intersection at Gallimore Dairy Road or the signalized intersection to the south at Regency for safe ingress for going southbound on back into the city of High Point. Another key thing to note is that the city's land use policy does support commercial development in this area. The applicant has provided higher construction standards and development standards for this site. That is one of the key policies of the East Chester Corridor Plan, having higher standards for unified development, including with their canopies having, instead of just a metal column, those columns have a brick facade to add a higher standard, which is a key policy of the East Chester Corridor Plan. So in conclusion, I would note that this request does promote that the desired development pattern is consistent with the corridor plan, and primarily with this site being at a signalized intersection, the canopy at that angle is appropriate for this location. Any other convenience stores with canopies along the East Chester Corridor, that canopy has to be to the rear, but in this situation, Since it is at the intersection of two major thoroughfares, staff was supportive of that angle configuration, and staff is recommending approval of this request. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this proposal at their January 28th public hearing and recommended approval of this request. That is a brief summary of both the annexation and rezoning. Are there any questions of staff at this time?
Are there any questions from council for Mr. Shannon?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Next, we'll hear from our applicant on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Madam Manager. My name is Mark Isaacson. I'm an attorney in Greensboro. Address is 804 Green Valley Drive in Greensboro. I'm here this evening on behalf of Racetrack, Inc., and with me are members of the Racetrack team. If you'll just raise your hands and be identified. They have traveled here for the public hearing for this evening, and we understand that this is a preliminary public hearing to get our presentation along with the staff presentation, but the final decision or vote on this would be deferred until March 3rd, and we understand that. I'll be fairly brief. We certainly agree with the staff's summary of the facts and circumstances regarding this property. It meets the strict criteria of Racetrack. Racetrack is a national company. It looks for various factors and considerations in its site selection. This is certainly a transportation-oriented corridor. I think if you look at the zoning map, there are several businesses that utilize vehicles that are to the east and west, north and south of this location. As you all may appreciate, this property has been under consideration by others over the years, and we're glad that Racetrack had the diligence to sort of stick with it. We've been working on this project for about a year. This is an assemblage of 4 parcels, or a part of 4 parcels of land, including the property that is owned by a cell tower company out of state. And so we had to really work diligently to put this together, and we're glad to be before you this evening. As Mr. Shannon mentioned, we had a neighborhood meeting. We had reached out to several of the nearby property owners. In fact, no one attended our neighborhood. We held a party and no one attended. So we thought we had maybe addressed the concerns and questions. In addition, we continued to reach out to property owners in the area and have received nothing but positive responses. I think as Mr. Shannon indicated, the biggest advantage here is the opportunity to organize the transportation system in this area. The extension of Tyning Street, the right in, right out, and the intersection movements will all be well organized, I think, as a result of this development. We have a national company that brings a national approach to projects like this, and we think that's an advantage here. Finally, with respect to the city's comprehensive plan, the primary uses in this corridor include auto-oriented commercial businesses and other transportation-oriented facilities. We have included an extensive set of zoning conditions after working with the staff. Those include design standards, building materials, architectural features, and transportation conditions that are all consistent with the Eastchester Gateway Corridor Overlay Zoning District. And with that, we're available to answer any questions that council may have, and look forward to continuing to work with the city on this project and others.
Thank you, Mr. Isaacson. Any questions for the applicant?
No questions, Mr. Mayor, but a comment. I know when we met on this a while ago, Mark, it was really welcome because of some of the transportation improvements that we see here in this project. Representing this district and seeing all the things that are developing around it with Ecolab and some of the things that are happening in this corridor, we're going to see an increased amount of vehicular traffic that's going to come through this area. And so this is a, welcome improvements. And plus, we get looking at a national chain like Racetrack and the standards that they bring, it's really a welcome improvement to this area. Plus, this land has been sitting here for most of my tenure, all of my tenure on council. And so to get it all together and have something developed down in that area is really welcome in the district.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Holmes. Any other questions or comments for the applicant? Thank you. At this time, is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against this item? Okay. Hearing none, at this time, we're not voting on approval of this item, as we've already noted, but we are voting to continue it. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Moore. The date that we'll continue it to will be the March 3rd regular council meeting. I want to assume you all's motions and seconds still fall there. Any discussion on the motion to continue? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? The ayes have it, and the public hearing will be continued to the March 3rd regular council meeting. Thank you all so much. Next item is item 2025-063 to establish a public hearing date for Series 2025 limited obligation bonds for stadium modifications. At this time, we'll call on Mr. Olmedo, our Assistant City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Staff is requesting to establish a public hearing date of March 3rd, 2025, for the purpose of receiving public comments on the issuance of up to $6.8 million in limited obligation bonds to fund previously authorized stadium modifications and equipment. At this meeting, staff will also recommend a lender, and we will ask that City Council adopt a preliminary findings resolution. The next step in that is on March 17th, City Council will consider a final resolution authorizing the bond issuance, and then we will, in early April, we'll seek the Local Government Commission approval of the financing with a tentative closing date of April 10th. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from staff on this item?
So what are some of the upgrades that are going to be part of this? Some of the upgrades that are going to be part of this?
Well, these are the upgrades that have already occurred at the stadium,
Oh,
so we
okay.
will be reimbursing the
Reimbursing.
expenses that we've already made.
Got it, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you, Mr. Armedo. I'll go ahead and make the motion to establish this public hearing date for the Series 2025 limited obligation bonds for stadium modifications and set that date for March 3rd, 2025 at our regular meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Councilmember Holmes. Any discussion on this motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? The ayes have it, and the date has been set. At this time, we have an item here to go into closed session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Moore and seconded by Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion on the motion to go into closed session?
I don't have a discussion on that motion, but I just want to say before we go out that I had the opportunity to do a ride-along on the garbage truck last week. And it was very eye-opening and educational, and I just wanted to thank the department for having me and for welcoming me, and my driver, Ricky, who services several areas of the city, was amazing, and it was really fun to see all the buttons and see the whole process from the inside.
Nice. Thank you for that, Councilmember Cook. Any other comments or anything before we vote to go into closed session? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? The ayes have it, and we'll go into closed session. We'll actually relocate into the third floor conference room for our closed session, so. No.